Jackson. I don't know what's happening with my link. It's not working, and it looks correct. So I'm actually going live public now. So sorry about that, guys. It was kind of weird. I was like, I went live, for my unlisted account on Patreon, and what happened was no one was seeing me, but it was the correct link. I could see it was the correct link, but no one could get on. So. Hey, Umir. Sorry, I always say your name incorrectly. I'm sorry about that, Umir. It's such a bad habit. But my great student Umir is going to be is on the show, and I'm going to actually just take questions for people today about anything, any kind of subject on the guitar. I'm going to start off with playing a tune. Just so you know, guys, some of my other students that are that are supposed to be tuned in, I sent an email to. I need to send them. I just need to send them. I don't know if I can even do that now. The correct link, but if they just go to my YouTube channel, they'll see I'm live. Okay, and you guys can ask any question. Okay, good, Dionysios. Where do you live, Dionysios? In Greece or in America? I have no idea. But let me start by playing a song that I was trying to play earlier, solo guitar. It's called Del Sasser, and then you can ask me questions about anything you want today. Let me do it on my 7th string. Okay, cool. Hey, guys, this is a public Patreon live event just because I couldn't figure out how to why my link wasn't working to do this unlisted lesson today. But so everybody, this is a public lesson, and my goal today is just to take any questions that you have. Yeah, so you know what, that Count Basie ending, Umir, is actually not correct. I heard the correct ending is this one. Like, let me see. So if I'm in the key of F, it would be like this. So that's the correct ending for the Count Basie ending. Okay. So it's like and you gotta play this note. You gotta play this note. You gotta play those notes there. Keep the six down there. So that's the correct Count Basie ending, okay? So that last song was called Del Sasser by Sam Jones. I've never really played it as a solo guitar piece. It's kind of like a big band song, okay? And if you look at the music, you know, it's not that easy. This is actually backwards, guys. But that's what Del Sasser looks like. And you know, that's it's a great song. So I was just kind of do solo guitar with that. It's kind of it's not a complicated arrangement if you're playing in a band by yourself. It is. So I'm planning to do that on my show tomorrow night on Sunday Evening Jazz, and do it solo guitar like that because it's one of my favorite songs. Okay. Now, does anybody have any questions so far? Because this is about yes, I'm taking questions today. Yes. So I'm taking questions. I'm gonna make that taking questions. Any question you want. You know. So I'm gonna put that in the chat right now. And if you have any questions, please let me know about picking, soloing, practicing, anything you want. Okay. And this was supposed to be a Patreon sponsored live event. You know, only for unlisted. So so Emir, I think that's how you say it. Emery. Sorry, Demixi. Okay. Has a question about tritone substitutions. So you know what? I actually have a long YouTube video about that already posted, but I could talk to you about that now if you want. Let me fill this out first. Okay, hold on. So I'm going to put this here. I'm going to put my Patreon link so you guys have that. Is that correct? Okay. So that's my Patreon link, guys, for this this live event. So tritone substitution is basically the tritone is actually taking the octave and dividing it in half. So let's say I'm playing a C major scale. I'm gonna take my other guitar so you guys can see better because this is a 7-string. Some people can't see this guitar too easily. So let me get my 6-string Eastman out here. Okay. Make sure I'm in tune. So the tritone is actually, if I'm playing a C major scale, okay, the I'm going to go to the F sharp and divide the octave into exactly a sharp 4 or flat 5 over. So that's a tritone. C to F sharp, okay? Then C to F sharp, etc. Okay. Now what's unique about that is, let's say I'm playing in the key of C. Okay, the C major scale, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Now the 5/7 chord of this key of C is the G7. That's 8 notes away. I mean, 5 notes away from the C, sorry. Okay, so that note is a 5 away. And now, if you play the G7 chord, okay, you get the 1, 3, 5, flat 7, okay? Now, the 3 and 7 are the actually the tritone in that chord, okay? We call it the tritone because that's actually a flat 5 away from this note. It cuts the octave exactly in half. So that's our tritone, okay? Just so you know. So the tritone is the F and the B, okay, on the G7 chord. Now, when we resolve that, those two notes resolve to the C chord. Now, dominant 7th chords are really strong. They resolve to the next chord usually, like this. F to E and B to C. Now, that's a really strong cadence, okay? Now, the reason why it's called tritone substitution, because I'm using a bass note here of a G and ending on C. Now, that tritone is what we call the flat 7 and the 3, okay? And that is also common with the D flat 7 chord. This is that note. Now, in the D flat 7 chord, that the F becomes, which is the flat 7 on the C, okay? That becomes the 3rd instead of the flat 7 on the G. So that's a 3rd of D flat, and the B is actually the C flat in the D flat 7 chord. Okay, that's the flat 7 of the D flat 7 chord. So it's actually the same exact notes. Okay, so G and D flat have the same tritone. So when you do a substitution, you're actually substituting the bass, which is G to D flat, and you're resolving. You see that? Okay, see that? So that's a tritone substitution. You can play that anywhere. I would end it like this. So I did a G7 like this and ended on the F chord. I did a G7 to C, sorry, or D flat 7, which is a tritone substitution. So you can do that in any key. So the key of F would be C7 to F. So I could do C7, G flat, same chord, same tritone. Okay, so the guitar sounds very distorted. Oh, maybe it's too loud. Sorry about that, Tony. Let me turn it down a little bit. How about now? I'm gonna play softer. Sorry. Is that better? So now I'm actually doing the tritone substitution like that. So that's a very common progression. And just so you know, when you're doing tritone substitution, you can use different scales. So if I'm playing a G7 like this, let me get a different kind of pick here, a lighter pick too for this guitar. So the scale you would use on let's say you're doing a C7 to F, C7 to C, G7 to C, like that. So the scale you would use on this G7 is a mixed Lydian or dominant scale. Now, when you get to if you do the tritone substitution, you would have to use a different scale. You have to use a Lydian dominant or a dominant 7 with a raised 4. So this is a D flat 7 scale with a raised 4. So the chord tones are 1, 2, 3, sharp 4 or flat 5, 5, 6, flat 7 to 1. You have to change the scale to play the linear, to play the tritone substitution, the chord that you're playing on. And that's based on the melodic minor scale. This is a lot of stuff to learn in like a few minutes, but it's very common, this kind of stuff. Yeah, so sorry, I have a new camera, and the mic is probably stronger, so my guitar might be a little distorted. So I'll turn down a little bit. Okay, good. So that makes sense. Thank you. You're welcome, Emery. How would you implement triads and arpeggios in a song like Autumn Leaves? Oh, that's funny. I'm working on that with my student right now. Who's I don't know if he's watching, but I'm actually I hope he's watching. One of my students is going to watch right now. Let me just check one thing. I got a text because I had a problem trying to get online. Anyway, there's something weird with YouTube because someone just sent me a text saying that I streamed 1 day ago, but I haven't streamed a day ago. So this is kind of weird. Anyway, so hopefully people are watching. Oh, there's Sean. Great. Hey, Sean, my student's here. So I want to ask a question about how do you do arpeggios in a song like in Autumn Leaves? That's Dionysios. Okay. No. You're talking about chords, Dionysios, or arpeggios, literally arpeggios. So let's think about that for a second. So I'm working on a song right now with my student Sean, who's up here listening, watching right now. You could do an arpeggio like this. Now, if I'm playing a song like Autumn Leaves, and I'll play the melody. See? So when I'm doing these arpeggios, yes. So you're talking about solos, okay, or chords. Now arpeggios, I'm going to do. If I do an arpeggio, working on the song, I would go like this. You can go like this. You can first do the triad, which is. Now I'm doing this in low register, but you should have to be able to play that everywhere. The D7. These are just triads, everybody. So that's 3 notes only. Going through the chord changes, you see. Every possible. So I'm only doing triads right now. Every possible way. You can play through the changes just like that, okay? And then, play triads first, then arpeggios. So triads and arpeggios are basically the same thing, but it depends how you play them, okay? A triad can be played like this or like this. So you can do the triad and then the arpeggio. Now that's a really simplified version because in Autumn Leaves, actually, the chords are 7th chords, so you have longer chords. So I'm going. So you can do 7th chords. I mean, it's hard to do it on a guitar like this, to play them like straight like this. So you have to use closed voicings. No, these are really simple voicings I'm playing right now. But if I'm soloing, you can use triads or you can use 7th chords. You can go through the whole song like this. Now, when you're practicing these kind of exercises, everybody, you need to be able to play these fingerings different ways. So here's like an A minor 7 arpeggio. I'm playing Autumn Leaves in the key of E minor. So the first chord is A minor 7 to D7 to G major 7 to C major 7, etc. So the first chord is A minor 7. So you should be able to do the arpeggio like this. Okay, that's one way. I can play it like this too, in the same octave. See how many ways I play that? Because that's how you really learn how to play the guitar neck, all over the guitar neck. You do it on one string. Oh, sorry. See how many ways I play that? You can even play it on the same string. That's how you really learn your guitar neck. And then I would transpose it up an octave. Well, I'll do it here. See how many ways I just played that? And someone said, Mr. Jackson, play some giant steps for us. You guys are funny. I'll tell you a story. I was taking a workshop with the great Joe Pass years ago when I was in college. And there were like 100 guitar players in the room. And you know what people were saying to him? They were saying, Mr. Pass, could you play giant steps? And like Joe Pass said, you know what? I'm not here to prove anything. I was just laughing my butt off. That was pretty funny, man. Oh, yeah. So Dionysios. Oh, yeah, so you're in a different key than me. So he's doing Autumn Leaves in the key of G minor. So that's the key of G minor. So you just do the same key. You have to do this in every key. So this is Autumn Leaves in the key of G minor. So in a different key. So if you know a song really well, everybody, you have to be able to transpose the song, on the fly. That means like just this key. So I was doing E minor, but now I had to go to G minor because that's the key Dionysios does it in. So if you do the arpeggios, Dionysios, you have to do it in this key too. And then as everywhere. So I just basically played the arpeggios through that song, okay? And hey, David from Montreal, how you doing? So that's how you actually play through changes. I'm taking questions today in my workshop. It's public because somehow my private link couldn't work for my special guests. So sorry about that, guys. Now, Adam, someone asked me to play some giant steps for us. Let me play a little bit. So you can do that way. So that's a little giant steps for you. Okay. So Adam, how would you turn these triads into phrases that you would typically hear when improvising? So, okay, that's a good question. So let's say I'm playing through Autumn Leaves, everybody, or giant steps. I'm just kidding. So I would actually do this. I would actually, you got to have to learn how to play different devices in jazz. So one thing I would do if I'm doing an arpeggio, let's say I'm going C minor to F7 to B flat major 7 in Autumn Leaves. I would actually do things. I would do more than just the arpeggio. I could actually do half steps. Well, now what happens is I'm playing real simple right now, but I would actually start doing passing tones and approach notes like this. I did an approach note. So I'm actually playing a half step below. But it still sounds like an exercise, doesn't it? So what we have to learn with jazz, you have to start learning jazz lines. So I mean, I can't just play like a half step below or just an arpeggio. I would go like something like this. So what I'm doing is actually I'm doing a bunch of different things. Like I'll play the note up in thirds or something, or maybe do a passing tone, which is really important in jazz. So I'm passing. I'll be playing between the whole steps. So now I'm starting to use really jazz phrasing. What I'm doing is I'm actually combining the arpeggios with passing tones, um, thirds, all kinds of different techniques. But I learned all this from learning solos and playing many gigs and using trial and error. So trial and error is basically you're experimenting with different you know, different techniques that you learn from playing on gigs. So I mean, I'll try different scales. I mean, there's so many things you can actually do with jazz, but I use passing tones instead. So if I'm playing on C minor, I can use a Dorian scale, and I have lines that I have worked out too. That means these are lines that I practiced for years and years and years, and I play them. Now, those are things I kind of know from playing for a long time that I know work. So I'm just doing an arpeggio. This is actually a type of 2-5 lick we call it. This is a 2-5 progression, C minor 7 to F7. So I'm actually doing. There's a lot of these licks called a 2-5 lick. You probably heard of it. I'll go. So this is like a type of 2-5 lick that I have worked out in my solo, and I can play it slow. Or I can go. So I'll play it fast. You have to have it worked out at different tempos. You could throw them all in actually, and just fit them in. I mean, it's just a lot of practice and trial and error. So that's how I approach different arpeggios. Let me see what some of these questions are. There's a lot of questions coming up here. Oh, Ellen's watching. Hey, Ellen, and Alon from Amsalah, Israel. Hi from Israel. Okay, let me see. Let me ask you some questions. So I answered Adam's question. Burke, Mr. Jackson, I have one small question. How can I improve my transcribing by ear? Where should I start? Okay, Barak, Bayaki. You guys have some really difficult names today. What is this? So when you're transcribing, what you do, for a person, first pick a song that that might have some music, so you can figure out at least what the chords are. But if you don't have any chords, you have to. One of the best things to do is actually try to find the note, find the key that you're playing in. Now, if you're doing it by ear, I'm using my computer unfortunately today, but I would try to show you. Let me get my phone here. Let me get my phone. Let's say I pick a song, any song, like off. Let me just pick any random song right now, guys, and live from you. That let's pick a pop song. Now you could be a jazz song too. Let's say you're trying to transcribe something like a solo. So let me go to YouTube right now and pick let me see. Let me pick John Coltrane or somebody. I don't know. John Coltrane. So I'm going to try to show you how I start transcribing using my guitar. So John Coltrane, I'll just pick one solo from him, something like anything. I don't want to pick something too easy. None of his stuff is easy, but let's say I pick a song. So I try to find the key I'm in first. You got to do that. You got to find the right note. Okay, so they're playing. Let's pick like John Coltrane, something else, like a song list here. Blue Train. So this is a typical jazz song. So let's say So he starts his solo off. So I know this is a blues in B flat. So it's in B flat, E flat. You got to find the right key. So when he starts taking a solo, you got to find the right note that he's playing at the very beginning. Okay, and so that's taking off music. Let me see if I can start the beginning of this. Okay, so he doesn't look good. So there's a lot of licks I know from hearing them. So that lick he just played right now. Let me see if I can go back a little bit. I know it's an E flat 7 chord, so I know what scale he's playing. So that note, so I know that's a second. So you have to know your intervals as well. You know, I mean, I'm trying to cram this into like a few minutes, but this is like a lot of practice actually, learning how to transcribe. So you got to be able to hear intervals and be able to find them on your instrument if you don't have perfect pitch. And then the whole different story is to be able to write this down. See, I know how to write these things down too. I used to transcribe a lot when I was at Berkeley. So he starts off with like the second of the chord. And you can hear him play that note right now. Let me play it. Do da do do do. You try to sing back. He just did that in his solo, John Coltrane. And you have to pick out every note and try to find them on your instrument and make sure you're in tune and try to find chords, you know, songs with the chords you already know. So at least you know how to find, you know, you could try to find the scale and the key you're in. Now, and just takes a lot of practice and trial and error. Now, none of this stuff is easy. You know what I mean? It takes a lot of hours of practice, and I need to do this stuff still too and practice. So transcribing is a whole world. So you could either write it down or play it back like Wes Montgomery did all of Charlie Christian solos, and Pat Metheny did of all Wes Montgomery solos when he was a kid. So I heard, and so you could actually do that yourself, you know, but you have to, it takes a lot of time and a lot of effort. Now let me see here. Let me keep going here. Have you ever heard of Maurice Williams and the Zodiacs? I don't know these guys, sorry. One former member sang at my wedding. Okay, great. I don't know these guys, David. Where are you from, bro? I'm a lefty player. Oh, sorry about that. I'm not a lefty player, just so you know. I think that YouTube is transmitting me the other way. It should be. I'm a righty, so this is wrong here. So, so just in case you guys, you know, are kind of confused about this, I'm a righty. Okay, so I'm in New York. Okay, so David, just so you know. So let me go down to these questions here. I've been to Montreal, but I've never played at the festival though. I've played up there before, but not at a festival. I played up there with Jay's Blood Ulmer and some other people. I can play rock and some blues. I'm trying to learn some jazz. Cool. You're welcome, Adam. So my last name means a person with a huge beard. Okay. Yeah. Also, Adam asked me if you're transcribing, is slowing down cheating? No. Because if you know what's really interesting is it's hard to hear the notes when it's going by fast. So it's okay to slow it down. Actually, at the time when I was trying to learn how to transcribe, you couldn't do that. When you slowed it down, everything slowed down, at the pitch, everything. But now with digital technology, you can actually slow things down and not even notice that, you know, not even change the pitch. So let me get some water here. So that's a great question. You can do that. Now, hey, Ron, what's your best tip to be able to play? This is from Bert Clifton. What's the best tip to be able to play an interesting improvisation with major modes and not just make it sound like it's up and down the scale? Okay, yeah. So what I was explaining before, let's say we take let's go to a different key. Let's go to A flat. So if I'm playing an A flat major scale, let's say, because there's 6, 7 modes in the major scale. Let's just say you're playing just a major scale. You can do different things. You can run up the scale in seconds. That's just one note at a time. Then you can do thirds. Then you can do thirds as arpeggios. And backwards, etc. You know what I mean? And then you can do sevens. That's 4 notes in thirds. Now you can do this in any mode. And then you can do, there's all kinds of things you could do. You can start using approach notes. Now I have a bunch of videos on YouTube here with all these different techniques, you know, and one thing you could actually do is you can play approach notes. And approach notes, basically, you approach a chord tone with a note, like half step below, or half step above, or 2 steps from below, or 2 steps from above. So if I want to play a half step sequence, I can go up the scale like this. And I'm starting with the first note only, and I'm doing thirds instead. Now I'm just going up, you know, just 1 note. I could do 2 notes. I mean, you know, you could do so many different things with your imagination too. You know, you just don't have to listen to what I'm saying. You can do the half steps and make up your own half steps. You can go backwards. I could do triads and do that. Now, I mean, we talked about running up and down the scale. Also, you can use fourths, fifths, sixths, sevenths, etc. Go up and down the neck, every key, every possible fingering. Also, what we start using in jazz is a lot of what we call bebop scales. So we use passing tones between the whole steps. Remember the major scale? Let's go to the key of F now. If I played it on 1 string, between this note and this note is actually a note in between. So we could do passing tones in between. Now the half step, then whole step. So I'm doing passing tones in between. So when I'm taking solos, I use those scales a lot. I'll go like. So, and I'm using passing tones and half steps and approach notes, okay? So there's so many techniques you can use to actually not just run your scales up and down. Okay, someone's saying, nice guitar. Yeah, this is actually Eastman TV T49D/V amber guitar that I got from Eastman directly. Now, if you want to, if you're interested in these kind of guitars, you can actually go to my. I actually have a store on Amazon. I'm an Amazon influencer, and you can check out my guitars on the store there. Where is that? I can't find the sheet right now. Oh, it's this one. You can go to my Amazon store and check out my guitars there. Amazon.com/shop/Ron Jackson Music, and check out my store. And I have a bunch of guitars. There's Eastman guitars, all kinds of stuff. I have to update the store actually. And so let me see this. Let me see this on the question. I'm taking questions today, guys, everybody, and let me know. Yeah, I'm in New York City. It's not cherry red, guys. It's like this is similar to an ES-175, a Gibson. Okay, just so you guys know. Let me see. Any other questions that you want to? Maurice Williams wrote "Little Darling." Oh wow, okay, cool. Okay, so Dionysios asks, can you explain the 2/5 and what the meaning behind it? Okay, so the 2/5. So let's say you're in the key of G this time. So the 1 chord, or you know, the 1 chord in this case is a 1 major 7, a G major 7. Then the 6 is E minor 7, and the 2 is A minor 7, to the 5/7 in this key. So it's A minor 7 to D7. Okay. So this is called the 2/5 right here because that's the in the scale. It's the second degree. So it's 1, 2, A minor in this key. 3, 4, 5 is the D7. So 2/5s are very common chords because they resolve. They can resolve back to the 1, or they can just stay there. So what we do is we usually do these 2/5 phrases. So they can be arpeggios that do the chord like this: A minor arpeggio, A minor 7 arpeggio, to D7 arpeggio. And now if I'm going 2/5 and it goes back to 1, I'd have to resolve that lick. So that's called a 2/5 lick. So that's a lick that you would use on these kind of progressions like this. This is a really basic lick too. I'm only playing like arpeggios. And you know, and they go every 2 beats. 1, 2, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3. Now that's a great lick. If you don't know how to play over that chord progression, you could just play that everywhere. Every fingering. So I'm just experimenting how to play that lick. So that's called a 2/5 lick, and that's a very common phrase to see in jazz, to play in jazz. So when I'm playing, I'll go like everywhere. I have a bunch of these 2/5 licks. Oh, this one. See, I just did a bunch of the 2/5 licks. Now, 2/5 licks are very important because if you're playing through a song, the song will have a lot of 2/5 chord progressions in them. You know, let's say this. I mean, you know, like I Got Rhythm has a lot of 2/5s. So I'm doing D minor 7, D minor 7, G7, C minor 7. So I'll just run a lick like that, like this. Etc. You know, it's just a really easy lick to get through the changes, and that's used on a 2/5 progression. So I'll mix those licks up like this. So I'm just doing a bunch of 2/5 licks through that quick progression like this. So that's what the 2/5 is. So okay, any other questions, people? Let me see. I see some more lessons. I see some more questions. Oh, so someone's asking about 7-string comping. Can you play Take 5? Okay, there's a few questions here. Similar guitar to a Gretsch. Yeah. So let me take a little sip of my coffee. So what gauge strings do I use? So this is actually this guitar. You know, can't really take heavy strings, so I have 12s on here. You know, it depends on the guitar. I have my 7-string. I have, just so you guys are always scared when I say this, I have 14s on top. I call that the man string. So these are 14. So when I play that guitar, I use a thinner pick. On this one, I use a heavy pick because the strings are heavier. So these are 14 on top. It's 79 for the 7-string. Okay. And I can bend these. So I can bend these strings too, actually. So, you know, I'm actually used to playing heavier strings than lighter ones. The lighter ones are too light to me. And my action has to be a little bit higher because guitars aren't meant to be played with low action actually, and really thin strings. You're supposed to have heavier strings. My guitar teacher, one of my guitar teachers, one of my mentors, who passed away about 10 years ago, named Alvin Sparks, he didn't make me, suggested that I switch from 13s to 14s, and people like George Benson use those kind of heavier strings. You can't, don't, because when you play thinner strings, you sacrifice sound. Okay. So it's important to, be able to do that, to be able to switch between those kinds of sounds. So let me go to the next one. Play take 5. Oh yeah. Okay. I haven't played that in a long time. Now the sound of this neck pickup is amazing. Oh, thank you. Hold on. Oh yeah, these are Seymour Duncan pickups. I actually have an endorsement with Seymour Duncan. So this is a Benedetto 7-string pickup that's made by Seymour Duncan. And these come stock on here, but I actually have a Seymour Duncan endorsement, and I have a ton of their pickups on all my guitars. So this is a great sounding pickup. These cost about $200, I think. And these probably 150. I'm not quite sure. I didn't pay for them. But they're great pickups. Okay. Oh, now someone has questions about finger picking. Oh, 7-string comping, before I forget. Adam asked about any 7-string comping. Are there any shell voicings you would like to use? So, Adam, the best thing to do is if you go to my website, ronjacksonmusic.com, I'm going to write this in right now. It's on my page here. I have like a couple lessons that cost $2, etc. That have typical voicings. But when you're doing 7-string, I'm using a low A, so because that's the way George Van Epps and I studied with Bucky Pizzarelli. That's how George Van Epps tuned his guitar. So I have some exercises that cost a couple dollars on my website that are downloadable printables, and all the basic open string chords like this, like a C with a low C, A minor. Now when you're using a 7-string, I like to make sure I use the 7-string as much as I can in the voicing. I'll go like this. So that's a common voicing for a C bar chord, 3rd fret. A form, it's a cage system like this. C minor, major 7th, minor 7, minor 6, minor 7 flat 5s, diminished. See that? So these are very common chords like that with the 7th string, and you can use them as bass notes too. Like, let's say I'm playing a C F chord, and I want to play like a low note, like a I could do little things like that. Put the inversions on the 7th string. So I have a bunch of those exercises and comping things on my website if you want to learn more about that. Okay, on the 7th string. If you want to study with me too as well. Now finger picking. Finger picking is really good. Let's say, I just released a video last night, a live video about finger, picking styles. So I use a bunch of picking styles. I use alternate picking, so which is down and up, and I use a George Benson picking technique where I'm kind of slightly turning my wrist up this way. Okay, so you can pick the string straight like this, or slightly up like this at an angle, or this angle, more like Pat Metheny does and some other people I know. So I go like this, okay, and I pick up the up angle. Okay, now I like to use hybrid picking, which is I use my pick and my fingers, so, especially when I'm comping or doing some kind of like bossa nova rhythm. Or when I'm walking a bass line. So, and I'm also doing tapping with my fingers. So then when I do fingerstyle, one good way to learn fingerstyle guitar playing is study classical. I used to study classical guitar. You know, little exercises. I'm using my 7th string right now. Now, when I do fingerstyle, there's all kinds of exercises in these classical books. Different. I mean, so you have to practice these exercises and then learn them how to use them in songs. There's tons of ways to actually fingerstyle guitar pick, and that's just classical. And you could do like little, you know, more like Chet Atkins kind of stuff like I do. So that's more fingerstyle playing. Like there's a Travis picking style and all that kind of stuff that I need to be more familiar with myself. I need to practice. So there's all kinds of stuff you can do finger picking. And you can do, if you're doing classical, you use your nails. So that's a whole different world too. And flamenco and all that other stuff. One of my good friends who's a great flamenco guitar player, he super glues his fingernails so they don't break and all kinds of crazy stuff. So it's a whole different world that I don't want to get into because too much effort to keep your nails up. Let me see some other questions here. Have you ever played any metal music? I played a little bit of metal music, and I love that stuff actually. But I've never really tried to use it. You know, I like the progressive rock guys like Toshi Nabatsu. He's a bad dude. Now, I'm trying to get people to play 7th string. So if you want to learn about 7th string, you know, let me know. Also, if you want to get the chords, someone's reminding me about something here. Let me get this book. I have this book right here that I saw on my website that is through my Acoustic Guitar magazine. You know, I write for them, and it's called Chords at Your Fingertips. It's all Hal Leonard. And you can pick up that book on my website at www.ronjacksonmusic. I'll send you an autographed copy. And all kinds of stuff about chords, about bass lines that I did in here. There's some great writers in here too that did the book with me. You know that are in there too. You know, like Adam Levy and Sean McGowan. It's a really great book, and it comes with audio and everything, and you can learn how to play all kinds of bass lines and chords and stuff. You know. Now let me see. The man string. Yep. Yeah, the man string, guys. Oh, someone's asking me, well, Biryani from Pakistan. Yes. Biryani. Now, let me see. Someone just asked me, D. Nessus said, have you played 13? I used to play 13s. I actually have a pack here. So the strings I use right now are these, guys. These are jazz tapes. You see they're 13, and they're 14 to 79 for my guitar, for my 7th string. Then when I deal with Elixir, and Elixir, these are the 7th string light. These are 10s. I use them on my solid body 7th string PRS. I have the 11s actually too, and I have these other strings too. Let me see. I use the George Benson ones from Tomastic. I have a deal with these guys too. I have an endorsement with Tomastic, and they give me the George Benson ones. Now the George Benson strings are great. These are flat wounds. These are 14 on top. The man string, and these are pretty thick strings. But this is what George uses. You know, that's why he has that great sound. He has those nice thick strings. You know, and so these are 14 to 55 flat wounds. Nickel flat wound, it says. They're great strings, you know, but I use them on, that's just for my 6th string guitar. But I don't have a big 6-string box like I used to. I used to have a big Gibson L5, but I don't have one now. I sold it, but I use primarily a 7th string like this. So so those are the strings I use. Let me see. Now let me see. There's some other questions here. Let me keep going down here. You're welcome. You're welcome, Alon. For that's what this is workshops about. You know, if you really enjoy what I'm doing, please definitely let me show you a couple of my signs here before I finish. This is a Patreon only workshop, and let me show you my little sign here. Yeah, so this is sponsored by my Patreon account. If you like this, please definitely join my Patreon account, which is at www.patreon.com/RonJacksonMusic, and you get lessons like that. For this, for $3 a month, you get like one lesson, and for $9, you get like 3 or 4 lessons a month for free, and you get the workshops and stuff like that, and all kinds of other cool things. And here's the thing: some of the stuff I talk about, the picking exercises, chords, all of that's on my website, and it's sold as sheet music for a couple of dollars. If you want to pick up those things, it's all on here on the link. I'm going to put that at the end. Okay. Now, polishing strings. So someone's asking me, play some nice old American blues for us. Okay, someone asked me to play some nice old American blues. Let me see. Let me try something. Oh, too many jazz licks. So that's a little bit of blues. Now, yeah, so some arpeggios with sweeping licks. Oh, sure. So like you could do things like this. You could do things like that. Sweeping arpeggio licks like this. Or the. So I'm doing a half step below these arpeggios. Someone was asking about doing sweeping arpeggios with approach notes. With an approach note below, you can go like this. I'll take like a B minor arpeggio and go down the scale in the key of let's do the key of D. Change the keys up. So I can go like this. G. I'll go from the G down the scale like this. I can go like this. So I'm going half step below. So I gotta do it slow. See what I'm doing? I'm trying to play in the same string and go up and down the neck. Now you can try to go across too, like this. So I'm doing half step. So I'm going sweeping up and sweeping back down. Etc. So that's the type of sweeping lick you can do. What do you think of John Mayer? Uh, my first chord I learned by watching was E minor, A minor, G. Played it for 3 hours. Okay, that's great to know. So, everybody, I was answering a lot of questions here. So just so you know, thank you for watching. This was actually a Patreon only video that was supposed to be for only my patrons. But someone's asking about what in the wee small hour morning, John Mayer, Dave Letterman, most underrated performance. Oh, okay, that's great to know, Duryev. Can you do some Chuck Berry things? Oh yeah, of course I can. I used to play Chuck Berry. Let me see. So yes, I can play some Chuck Berry. I can play a lot of stuff, but I just play mostly. When I get paid to do other stuff, I'll play it. But most of the stuff I do my jazz stuff. And if you guys are enjoying this, please definitely follow me everywhere. Follow me on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter. I mean, I'm everywhere. Facebook. It's Ron Jackson Music is my tag. Please play some John Mayer if you know. I don't know any John Mayer tunes, unfortunately. Sorry. I should learn his stuff. I love John Mayer. Wes Montgomery thing to give us a kick. Oh, Wes Montgomery. They call me Les Montgomery, guys. Also, guys, if you're enjoying the show, I mean, I'll have this on my YouTube. But if you want to donate $1 or more, that would be great. To my PayPal, Ron Jackson Music. If you want to give a small donation for what you saw today, at Ron Jackson Music at Venmo, PayPal, and Cash App, and Zelle is ronjacksonmusic@gmail.com. So if you're enjoying this and you learn a lot of cool tips, please send a donation. Thank you. And I'll put that in my comments after. So let me see. Oh, you're making a Patreon. That's great. Great. It's a great thing. I'm getting a bunch of patrons now. I appreciate you guys, and I appreciate you guys watching. And so I'm going to put this on my comments right now. And then I'm going to play you one more song, guys. We're going to play a little Wes Montgomery. I got to go and eat lunch now. So I'm going to send you this little comment here. So my PayPal, Venmo, Cash App is Ron Jackson Music. So you have that. So let me play you a little bit of Wes Montgomery. Someone wanted to play something like that. Let me try it on my 7th string. This should be interesting. 7th string. Okay. So everybody, thank you very much for watching. Um, so that was my Patreon only live lesson that I had to make public because we had a problem with the link. So thank you for watching. Thank you, Deborah, for sending something on PayPal. At Ron Jackson Music, and remember to please follow me if you want to donate or anything, or join my Patreon or pick up my books. My latest album is right here. I'm about to record another album soon, and you can pick that up on my website too, Ron Jackson Music at www.ronjacksonmusic.com. And this is a great record. It had great reviews on Downbeat, and I had I was featured in Jazz Times with this album, Standards and Other Songs. I'm going to be doing another album very soon. And, so please follow me. Everything's on my website. If you want to get sheet music or if you want to study with me. Thank you for watching, everybody, and let's keep in touch. And you can watch this live stream after it's going to be replaying. And and someone said play some fast arpeggios. Let me see. I'll play some fast arpeggios real quick on the 7th string. Oh, let me see. Watch this. Now a fast arpeggio. I'll do this. I'll do a sweep picking thing. Hold on, real quick. I got to eat too. Let me see. So a real fast one I could do is like this one. Okay, that's crazy. Do you have any printed lessons you want to learn on your own? Oh, yes. So if you go to my website, ronjacksonmusic.com, I have printed lessons over there. ronjacksonmusic.com. Let me write that in. ronjacksonmusic.com, and go under the store, and you can get printed lessons if you want to learn anything about that. Okay, about some of these things I'm showing you right now. 40 ounces of polyphony. There's so many songs I need to learn. Drew Roof. I can never say your name. Everybody has hard names today. Sweep picking is crazy. I've been working on sweep picking. I still need to work on that stuff. But we can talk more about that. I need to practice. It's kind of weird on the 7th string. So I'm actually just doing a lot of sweeping stuff. Oh, Drew, thank you. I was transcribing your song, Mr. Evans. I was trying to figure out some of the theory behind it. Oh, wow, thank you. Kobe was transcribing something off one of these albums right here. I got this album right here. He was transcribing something off my Dream I Had record. And that song was dedicated. The song he's talking about is called To Mr. Evans. And that song, I've got a, if you want to email me at ronjacksonmusic@gmail.com, I could talk to you about the harmony. It's been a while since I've looked at that song. It's been a while. I wrote that song quite a while ago. So that's a great little song. And it was actually some of the harmonies that Bill Evans used in his piano playing, because he was one of my first heroes when I started getting to jazz when I was at Berkeley when I was about 18 years old. So, we could talk more about that later. But that's a great question. Thank you, Drew. I'll check that out. There's so many things to check out. I'm going to screenshot some of these comments and questions. And, I don't know if I got to everybody, but I tried to get to everybody as possibly can. So thank you, everybody. Is there any last questions before I leave? Because I'm going to take some screenshots right now. Yeah, send an email, ronjacksonmusic@gmail.com. Follow me at Ron Jackson Music everywhere. Okay. Yeah, yeah, yes. No problem. I'm overloaded now. I'm so hungry now after talking to you guys for all this time. I've been on here for over an hour now. And again, thank you. Thanks for watching. Please support me. Support artists who are stuck inside right now until the pandemic's over. And and follow me everywhere. Share my stuff with all your friends. Okay. Tell your friends to go to my website, check out my music, join my Patreon, and send a donation at Ron Jackson Music at PayPal, Venmo, and Cash App. And that's it. And I appreciate you guys. And and I hope I'm helping you somehow. I got to practice the stuff I'm showing you too, because I need to practice. I still have a lot of work to do, and I feel like I don't practice enough these days. So I'm going to be working on a new album, everybody, and you can look on the link here. Miss Biker Chick just put up like my printables for some of my lessons. I started posting all that stuff. It's available on Instagram and Facebook and on my website. It kind of cross posts all that stuff. So there's a lot of stuff. The most important thing, it's great to watch me do these videos, but the best thing to do is have a real teacher, like I've had. Always have a real teacher to show you what you're doing right and what you're doing wrong and what you can improve. And also, always record yourself, because the recording yourself, videotaping, or you're recording in the studio or at home, the tape never lies. So when you listen to yourself back, you can hear everything that's wrong, right, and where you can improve. Okay. So thank you very much for watching me. Let's keep in touch, and I really appreciate you guys. And I'll be doing more lives. I'll be doing live, 2 or 3 or 4 times a week on YouTube, particularly, because I need to do that more. Are you learning right now, taking lessons, Ron? Oh, yeah. So just so you guys know, yes, I'm taking lessons with a drummer. So about rhythms. Okay, so he's having me sing, tapping my foot in different ways, singing each beat, and subdividing them into 1 and 2 and 3 and, or 1 and 2 and 3, or 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and while I'm playing. So I'm really trying to get my rhythm together, which I feel like I need to work on the most. So there's a lot of stuff to work on, man. It's never ending. So keep in touch. Tomorrow night I have my show called Sunday Evening Jazz on Instagram. That's live, and I have a couple of great special guests. No, I'm not. Tomorrow night, sorry, it's solo 7-string guitar on Sunday Evening Jazz. So check me out on Instagram at Ron Jackson Music. And if you have any questions, please email me at ronjacksonmusic@gmail.com. And you could reach me on Instagram everywhere at the same places. Okay, and we'll see you guys soon. Okay, thank you, and have a great day. And no problem, guys. It was really fun. Okay, have a great day. Bye-bye.